Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have learned about the molecular transport into the proteins and the molecular transport of the nucleus introduction. That is the nucleus, it consisting of the inner and the outer nuclear membrane and the nuclear envelope which provides the anchoring site and the nuclear lamina which provides the structural support and the shape to the nucleus. The inner and the inner nuclear membrane it consisting of these two, and the outer nuclear membrane it continues with the endoplasmic reticulum, and the protein transport into the and out of the nucleus takes place with the help of these nuclear pore complexes or the nuclear prorina. And the nuclear pore complexes it consisting of the octagonal arrangement, that is the proteins or molecules protein molecules are arranged in an octagonal shape. It consisting of the four subunit. First is the column subunit which forms the bulk of the pore wall, and the annular subunit. It forms the center of the pore complex, and the luminal subunit which contains the transmembrane proteins which helps in anchor the complex into the nuclear membrane, and the ring subunit that forms the cytosolic and the nuclear phases of the complex, and the nuclear fibril which forms the basket like structure, and it also consisting of some of the acquired pore where the passage of the small water soluble molecules and the large protein molecules occurs by the passive diffusion. Next, the proteins are the large molecular structure that reaccumulate efficiently in the nucleus with the help of this nuclear localization signal. With the help of this nuclear localization signal, the protein molecules which can enter and move out of the nucleus through the nuclear pore complexes, that is mediated by this nuclear localization signals. That accumulation of the protein in the nucleus that may regulated by this nuclear localization signal. To initiate these signals, they must be recognized by the receptor encoded by the specific set of genes. The nuclear fibrils along with the nuclear pore complex they together form the diffusion barrier, and this diffusion barrier along with the amino acid that is the phenylalanine and the glycine they together form the FG repeats, and these FG repeats are the binding site for the import receptor, and these FG repeats are associated with the different cargo proteins, that is a cargo 1, cargo 2 protein, and the cargo 3 protein, and the cargo 4. And the cargo 4 is a special type where it requires the additional protein molecules for binding of the import signal. And these adapters these are structurally related to the nuclear import receptors and recognize only the nuclear localization signals on the Corga proteins. And the receptor, the FG repeats, these are the site for the import receptor, and this receptor cargo complexes move along the transport path by repetitively binding, dissociating, and then rebinding to the adjacent FG repeat sequence. There are number of FG repeat sequence which are present on the nuclear membrane, and this signal transduction occurs by this binding, dissociating, and then rebinding to the FG repeat sequence. Therefore, the transfer of the signal into and out of the nucleus occurs. After reaching the nucleus, they dissociated from their cargo and return to the cytosol. Next up. These export signal are also similar to that of the import signal, and they are transformed in and out of the nucleus with the help of a special transport protein, that is the karyofurin. And the energy for this process, the cell obtains the energy for this process by the hydrolysis of the GTP by the monomeric GTPase RAN. This is the enzyme which is present in the nucleus. With the help of this enzyme, the energy which is obtained for this binding, rebinding, and then dissociating process. And the RAN is present, it is both in nucleus and the cytosol, and it is required for both nuclear import and the export. And the two RAN specific regulatory proteins triggers the conversion between the two states. One is the cytosolic GTPase RAN activating protein. It helps in conversion from RAN GTP to RAN GTP. And the nuclear guanine exchange factor, it helps in conversion from RAN GTP to RAN GTP. Therefore, the transport of the signal occurs with utilizing these conversion energy. And another one, let us now consider the example where the understanding these signaling molecules. That is the nuclear factor activated T cell. It is a gene regulatory protein which is present in the resting T cell state. and this is found in the cytosol in the phosphorylated state. And this, when the T cells are activated in the presence of an antigen, there is an increased level of intracellular calcium occurs, and the protein phosphatase calcireurine. It binds to the NFAT, that is the nuclear factor activated T cell. This protein phosphatase binding to this NFAT causes it to dephosphorylate, and the dephosphorylated exposes the nuclear import signal, and the nuclear factor activated T cell complex activates the transcription of the genes T cell activation. This phosphatase enzyme helps in the binding of the calcineurin to the NFAT and dephosphorylates it. And this exposes the import signal, and the NFAT complex activates the transcription of the gene T cell activation. And once where the G T cell activation takes place, there is a more release of the T cell and binding of its antigen, and after killing all the antigens, it need to be back into the normal state, where the calcium decreases the release of the calcireurine, and the rephosphorylation which inactivates the import signal, and activation of the export signal takes place. Therefore, the NFAT, that is a nuclear factor activated T cell, relocates into the cytosol. Some of the immunosuppressant drugs like FK506 and the cyclosporine, they inhibit the ability of the calcineurin to dephosphorylate and blocks the T cell activation. Next will be the molecular transport of the mitochondria. And the mitochondria consisting of the inner and the outer nuclear membrane and the intermembrane space. The inner membrane encloses the matrix space, that is nothing but the cristae, and the outer membrane is in contact with the cytosol. And the protein molecules are transported from the cytosol into the matrix with the help of a precursor protein which is having the signal sequence at the N terminal. And the protein molecules which are having the sequence at the N terminal, and these molecules are imported into the cytosol into the mitochondrial matrix, and they are exported. And the signal peptidase rapidly removes after the import, after the specific protein molecules which is imported, and they need to be terminated, which can be performed with the help of this single peptidase enzyme. And different translocators mediate the protein translocation are TOM, transporters of the outer membrane, and TIM, and the transporters of the inner membrane. As we have seen in the protein transport, where the different gated channels and the vesicular transport helps in the mediation of the protein molecule, in case of mitochondria, these TOM and the TIM, under the TIM23 and the TIM22, they help in the movement of the protein molecules in and out of the matrix. This TOM is required for the import of the protein. Along with these two, there is a special protein that is nothing but the beta barrel protein, that is a translocator SAM, helps in the folding of the protein. And the TIM23 binds to the mitochondrial chaperones HSP70, which is a protein molecules on the DNA, helps in the import of an ATPase enzyme. This TOM complex is required for the import of all the nucleus encoded mitochondrial proteins, which transports their signal sequence into the intermembrane space and helps to insert the transmembrane protein into the nucleus. And the TIM23 transports some of the soluble proteins from the matrix space into the intermembrane proteins to their into the inner membrane matrix into the inner membrane. And the TIM23 also helps to transport some of the subclass of the inner membrane proteins, including the ADP, ATP, phosphates in and out of the mitochondria. Initially, the N-terminal signal sequence of the mitochondrial precursor is recognized by the TOM complex. And this complex, after binding of this signal sequence to the complex, causes the activation of the complex, and the insertion of this signal sequence into the intermembrane space takes place, where the TIM23, specifically the TIM23, recognizes the signal sequence, helps in the insertion. After insertion of the signal sequence, the signal peptidase enzyme, which is present on the membrane, helps in the cleavage of the further signal insertion. Next, therefore, the signal is inserted and the remaining signal is cleaved by this peptidase enzyme. And the export of the signal from the matrix into the other cytosol also follows the similar pathway, where it is bind to the TIM complex from the matrix, and it is transferred through the TOM complex and inserted into the cytosol. These are the some of the process which occurs within the cell for the transcription of the genes. For regulatory function of the proteins within the cell, this signaling between the molecules or the organelles is very much essential. These are some of the examples of the intracellular signaling pathway. There are other examples also for which the signaling through the cytoplasm and the other organelles. I have explained here some of the three main examples. Next, what are the different methods of the intracellular signaling pathway? As you have already seen, in case of the G protein coupled receptors, also the phosphorylation process which occurs by the addition of the phosphate group to the protein causes the chemical activation in the signaling pathway, and this is known as the phosphorylation. And the phosphate can be added to the nucleotide such as the GMP to form GDP or GTP, and the transfer of the phosphate is catalyzed by the enzyme that is the kinase. And this conversion from the GMP to GTP and the addition of the one phosphate group or the two phosphate groups is catalyzed by an enzyme that is kinase. Next, phosphorylation of the tyrosine residue can either affect the activity of an enzyme or create a binding site that interacts with the downstream components in the signaling cascade. This we have seen in the enzyme linked receptors, where the binding of the ligand molecule, there is a formation of a dimer, and this dimer causes the phosphorylation process to occur. And next will be through the mediation of the secondary messenger, where the ATP molecule in the presence of the adenyl cyclase enzyme, where the pyrophosphate that gets converted into cyclic AMP, and this cyclic AMP is one of the secondary messenger. Another such secondary messenger is the calcium ion, and the calcium ion also causes the activation of the some of the receptors. One such example is the G protein coupled receptors. Through the IP3-DAG pathway, they causes the increase in the level of calcium ions. Initially, the inositol phospholipids are formed, and these gets phospholipid inositol, and they get converted into the phospholipid inositol diphosphate and the triphosphate and the DAG, that is a diazyl glycerol, and there is an increase in level of the calcium ions which occurs with this catalyzed by an enzyme that is phospholipase C. These are some of the methods through which the activation of the secondary pathway occurs, or through which the mediation of the intracellular signaling process occurs. And this hence the introduction to intra and intracellular signaling pathway here. And these are some of the references which I referred, that is the Cell a Molecular Approach, which is published by the Senior Association and the Inc., and the Granard Cramp, the Cellular and the Molecular Biology, which is published by the John Wiley and Sons, Bruce Alberts, Alexander Johnson, and the Julian Lewis, David Morgan, Martin Raff, Keith Roberts, Peter Walter, The Molecular Biology of the Cell, 3rd edition, which is published by the Granard Publishing Inc. And some of the articles also I have referred to prepare this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something basic about the inter and intracellular signaling pathway. Thank you one and all.